We acknowledge that Tri-Cities Community Television operates on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation. We thank the Coquitlam who continue to live on these lands and care for them along with the waters and all that is above and below.
Hello, I'm Geneviève Kyle-Lefebvre with Tri-Cities Community Television. We would like to thank the Coquitlam Library for donating the studio space today. Welcome to the Federal Election Candidate Series with Tri-Cities Community Television. Today we're interviewing Mr. Ron McKinnon, the incumbent member of Parliament and candidate for the Liberal Party in the riding of Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam. Welcome, Mr. McKinnon.
Well, it's good to see you.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. So why should people vote for you?
That's a very good question, and I've lived in this riding for over 30 years. I think that I raised my family here, my two daughters, and I know the riding well. It's been my honor to represent this riding in Ottawa for almost 10 years now, and there's still much more work to do. We've done a lot, but there's more to do, and I'm ready and keen to get that done.
So what does civic leadership mean to you, and how does that plays out in your role as an MP representing the Tri-Cities?
Well, I have a very good relationship with all of the civic leaders in both cities that are in my riding, and we work together very well. We help them to acquire federal funding for things like Housing Accelerator Fund. We brought, for example, $25 million to the city of Coquitlam and another $10 or so million to Port Coquitlam to help them to prepare for the housing starts that we need them to encourage. But we will always listen to them and hear their concerns, and when we can address them federally, I'm delighted to be able to do that.
How would you collaborate with municipal and provincial leaders in the Tri-Cities to meet community needs effectively?
Well, as I mentioned, of course, we listen to them and we advise them when there's opportunities for grants for things like pumping stations and housing accelerator funds and so forth. But we also are responsive when they tell us that, we have these kind of concerns, we have these kind of needs. I'm very able to take them to a minister and say, hey, we need a program for this or for that. And I think it's a very close collaboration, a very good collaboration with the civic leaders and the province as well, because we work with the province in a similar manner.
Let's talk about affordable housing. Affordable housing continues to be a major concern. What steps will you take at the federal level to support housing solutions in a region?
An excellent question. Certainly, as I mentioned, the Housing Accelerator Fund is something we've been working on, because as we encourage people to build houses, it downloads on the city the responsibility of making subdivisions and sewers and so forth and roads. And so they need, in order to make the housing develop, to get it developing as fast and as well as we can, we need the city's support as well. So we've been working with the cities for that purpose as well. But under Mr. Carney's leadership, we are going to be expanding our pace of home construction by about double to achieve a rate in Canada about 500,000 units in a year. And we're going to be looking at innovative solutions. We're going to treat this as a crisis, as we did after the Second World War. We're going to be dealing with prefab housing and working with the cities to find appropriate ways forward, and possibly even using Crown lands where possible to make sure that we have a substantial increase in the numbers of houses and the affordability of those houses.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the pressure that is being put on cities to increase densification, primarily around SkyTrain?
It's certainly a tough nut for cities to crack. I mean, certainly density in many cities, such as Port Coquitlam, for example, don't have room to expand. And we have to preserve green spaces and protect them. And so it really kind of leaves them the only option is to build up. And there are advantages to that, of course, is that it helps for transit. It's easier to deal with a more higher density kind of population with transit than if everybody's spread out all over the map. So for example, we are contributing to transit, and we're helping transit. For example, we just announced, I think, a $1.6 billion contribution to the SkyTrain expansion to Langley. So that's going to be in that same area of helping cities to deal with transit and to deal with people and to deal with congestion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, transit and infrastructure are critical in growing cities. What project or initiative are on the way to improve mobility in the Tri-Cities?
Good question. In fact, I just answered it. It's
in the same question? Did I say that twice?
No.
Okay, could that?
The $1.6 billion that we're giving to SkyTrain to help them to expand the line towards Langley. But we will continue to work with Metro and with SkyTrain and those kinds of organizations to help them to meet the needs of the community.
What are your perspective on the impact of the past and potential future U.S. tariffs? We're talking about tariffs now, such as those imposed by Trump administration on the local industries and workers here in the Tri-Cities.
The tariffs are irresponsible and unwarranted intrusions by the U.S. administration. But with Mr. Carney, we have someone who is highly trained and very adept at dealing with circumstances of this kind. We are going to put countervailing tariffs in place in a way that most impacts the United States without impacting us more than necessary. And we're going to redeploy any revenues we get from those kinds of measures, those trade measures, to be helping businesses and workers who are impacted by the U.S. tariffs. Ultimately, we'd like to see trade go back to what it was before, which was profitable and beneficial to both parties. But right now, we have to be strong against Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump only respects strength if he respects anything. So we have to be strong back to him, and we're going to use that as an opportunity to generate revenues that are going to use to help Canadians to navigate the chaos of the economic chaos that ensues from Mr. Trump.
How will you engage directly with residents in Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam to ensure their voices are heard in Ottawa?
I talk to constituents all the time. I go in the library, a place like this, I meet them, they tell me their concerns. I meet them in my office. And we deal with, I've had Zoom meetings, I've had in-person meetings with constituents all throughout my 10 years. And I'm very delighted to take their concerns and pass them on to the appropriate ministry. And oftentimes I will get them to write me a letter, and I will pass their concerns with a cover letter of my own to the minister, so that we can most effectively advocate for them and be responsive to their needs.
What federal resources or programs should Tri-Cities residents be more aware and taking advantage of?
Well, there's a couple that I'm really proud of. One is the Canada Summer Jobs Program, and that provides funding for summer jobs and so forth for university students and high school students, to give them experience out in the world and prepare them for their future life. Another one I'm really proud of is the New Horizons for Seniors program. So this is an opportunity for seniors groups to apply for grants, which I believe go up to about $25,000. And the point of the New Horizons for Seniors is to keep seniors involved in the community. We have all this great power, and we don't want to lose it. Different seniors groups have used it for different ways. For example, I think one of our seniors groups used it to take outings, to take seniors out around the Lower Mainland and visit places and so forth. Another used it for making their residents more able to connect with the internet and interact with the world in different ways. So it's a matter of imagination, and how can we use this funding to keep our seniors involved in the community, keep them engaged, and have the benefit in our communities of having seniors around more obviously and more prevalently.
We'll talk about youth now. So youth and civic engagement are crucial for a healthy democracy. How will you encourage young people in the Tri-Cities to get involved?
Well, of course, election time is here, and that's a great time for people to get involved. Pick a candidate you like and go and knock on doors for that candidate. Make phone calls. There's all kinds of work that needs to be done on a political campaign. We certainly need and want that kind of help in our campaign, but I know that all the other campaigns would benefit from this as well. I think that's one of the key ways of being involved and staying involved in our democracy. And the younger, the better. The sooner you can get involved in our democracy and understand how it works, I think the better. But there's other things we can do. For example, I mentioned the Canada Summer Jobs Program. That gives students, high school and university students, an opportunity to interact with different nonprofits, sometimes businesses, some other times, to get experiences that they wouldn't necessarily have otherwise. And I think those kinds of experiences, you never know when they're going to fill in your life somewhere else. Right? I believe there's no education is wasted, no experience is wasted. You never know where this experience is going to affect your, if you become an engineer, but you spent your summer doing bird watching. Well, who knows where that's going to affect how you be an engineer? You just don't know. It's the world is a interesting place, and the more we know about different things, the more we get to fill in the blanks in our lives.
So looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of the Tri-Cities? And how will your work as an MP contribute to that?
The Tri-Cities has an enormous future. One of the main things we're working on, of course, with Mr. Carney's vision and his renewed perspective on how to advance the Canadian economy and the Canadian society, is housing. We desperately need more housing in the Tri-Cities, and we need housing that is more affordable. Part of the answer to that is build a lot more housing, and we're engaged in doing that. And of course, as I mentioned, the Housing Accelerator Fund helps the cities to be full participants in that process. But we need to make sure that people have places to live that they can afford, and that they that are and they have services around them that they can make use of to enrich their lives. And that's of course part of the deep partnership we have to carry on with the city and with the province as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mr. McKinnon, if your constituent were in the room right now, what would you like them to know?
I would like them to know that I'm very excited by our new Prime Minister, and I see in him a huge amount of potential. We have worked for 10 years as a government, and we have advanced a certain vision, and I think it's been very positive for this country. But Mr. Carney has brought a renewed vision, slightly different perspective, and I think he's going to bring that new perspective forward. I think he's a new leader, a new perspective, I think, is a great opportunity. One of the things we're going to be doing is approaching housing in a much different way, and I think that's going to be very beneficial for the community, and affordability just in general in a different way. And he has the economic expertise to do that. He's also very connected with, he's very aware of the need that we as human beings need to stay connected with nature. Some have called him an environmental economist, if you will. And one of the goals that he's putting forward, and I fully agree with, is to expand the number of national parks and urban green spaces so that we can stay connected. Staying connected to green spaces, I think, is important to the mental health of people, particularly the ones that live in a very urban environment. We can't breathe concrete and steel all the time. We have to go out and smell green trees by times. So.
Thank you so much, Mr. McKinnon, for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you.
I was delighted to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And And I look forward to other opportunities to carry on this conversation.
Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Ron McKinnon, the incumbent member of Parliament and candidate for the Liberal Party in the riding of Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam. On behalf of Tri-Cities Community Television and myself, Geneviève Kyle-Lefebvre, thank you so much for watching us. And don't forget to go vote on April 28, 2025. Your vote matters.